And Young Buzz, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving into something huge, something that honestly still feels unreal, even though it's Stray Kids. And at this point, we should all know that they don't just break records, they rewrite the entire rulebook. But somehow, they still manage to surprise us every single time. So grab your drink, sit back, and let's talk about the massive global domination that Stray Kids is pulling off right now. And as always, feel free to talk to me in the comments, because trust me, after this news, I need to know your thoughts too. All right, let's get into it. Stray Kids has once again proved why they're one of the most influential groups in the world right now. According to the latest Billboard update, dated the 13th, their album SKZ It Tape, Do It, ranked 4th on the Billboard 200 chart. 4th place. And this isn't even its debut week. This is its second consecutive week inside the top ranks. That means Do It didn't just arrive with a loud entrance. It walked in, sat comfortably, and said, yeah, we belong here. And that's because in its first week, it debuted straight at #1. Another #1 album for Stray Kids. Another broken record. Another piece of history added to their already insane list of achievements. With Do It, they now have 8 consecutive albums hitting #1 on the Billboard 200. 8 consecutive #1s. Let me say that again because that's not normal. That is not something you casually achieve. That's not something anyone can do no matter how big they are. Stray Kids now hold the record for the most #1 albums on the Billboard 200 by any K-pop artist. And if you zoom out beyond K-pop, looking at the whole world, the entire history of music, the only artists with more #1 albums than Stray Kids are the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. Just think about that for a moment. Stray Kids, a self-producing K-pop group from JYP, sits right behind 2 of the most legendary bands in global music history. How wild is that? And I'm curious what you think, because this kind of achievement puts Stray Kids in a very unique place. At this point, we can't even compare them to their K-pop peers. They're not just playing the same game. They're literally on their own level, building a legacy that's starting to echo through generations. Do you think they're already legends? Or do you think they're still in their rising era? Let me know what you feel, because I honestly feel like we're witnessing something historical in real time. But wait, that's not even the end of it, because while Do It is dominating in the US, Stray Kids is also making waves elsewhere. Their 4th full-length album, Karma, is still on the Billboard 200 as well. Not just on it, but charting for 15 consecutive weeks. It recently hit #50, which is crazy when you think about how fast the charts move, how quickly albums usually fall off. And yet Karma is still running, still gaining attention, still contributing to Stray Kids' global reign. This is what people refer to as longevity. And in the music world, longevity is everything. A debut at #1 is impressive, but sustaining that impact week after week proves that people aren't just checking out Stray Kids, they're staying. And honestly, I want to ask you this. Why do you think Stray Kids is able to maintain this kind of global influence? Is it because of their unique sound, their performance style, their personality, or is it a combination of everything? I feel like one of their biggest strengths is authenticity. You can feel that in their music. Even people who don't understand Korean can feel the intensity, the raw emotions, and the creativity behind every track. And that's the power of self-producing groups. They bring their own stories, their own worldview, their own color into the industry. But let's move on because the global wins keep piling up. Do It also ranked 3rd on the French phonographic industry's top singles chart as of November 28. This is Stray Kids' highest ranking ever in France. And not only that, it's the highest ranking any K-pop group has ever achieved on that chart. France isn't an easy market to break into. The competition is strong, the audience is selective, and yet here's Stray Kids pushing boundaries again. You can't tell me that's not impressive. So SKZ not only performed well in the US and France, but they also killed it on TikTok's year-end chart. They ranked 5th in the top 10 global artists. TikTok, the platform that literally shapes global music trends now. To be in the top 5 globally means their influence is reaching even people who may not be hardcore fans. It means their music and content are spreading organically, naturally, through trends, challenges, edits, and everyday users. That kind of visibility is priceless. And honestly, I have to ask, what was the first Stray Kids moment that appeared on your For You page? Because for me, TikTok has become one of the main reasons people discover Stray Kids performances, dance breaks, funny moments, or those iconic Felix deep voice lines. So if you stumbled on them through TikTok, I'd love to know which clip got you hooked. Let's talk about it in the comments. Now let's talk about something equally huge. Stray Kids recently wrapped up their world tour Dominate, which had 56 performances in 35 regions around the world. 56 shows, 35 regions. That's a massive tour. Think about the energy needed. Think about the preparation, the stamina, the pressure, the responsibility, the travel, the back-to-back shows. And yet, at every stop, their performances were consistently strong, passionate, and unforgettable. And honestly, if you went to one of the Dominate concerts, you're the real MVP. Tell me what city you watched them in. What was your favorite performance? Did you cry? Because let's be real, a Stray Kids concert is an emotional roller coaster, and none of us come out the same. But let's be honest here. Their world tour titled Dominate was not an exaggeration. They literally dominated the world. And the fact that they were able to maintain this level of performance while also releasing chart-topping music, that's insane. Most artists struggle to do one or the other, let alone both at a high level simultaneously. This is why I think Stray Kids is becoming more than just a K-pop group. They're becoming a cultural force. You don't get 8 consecutive #1 albums, global chart domination, TikTok milestones, and a world tour of this scale unless you have something truly special. And I'm not just talking about talent. Talent alone isn't enough. It's the combinativity, teamwork, identity, fan connection, work ethic, and vision. Stray Kids knows who they are. And because they know who they are, the world knows who they are too. But let me share a personal thought. I've been watching the rise of Stray Kids for a long time now, and while their music is incredible and their performances are legendary, one thing that stands out the most to me is their courage. They take risks. They experiment with sounds that other groups wouldn't dare touch. They release songs that break the structure of traditional pop music. They rap when people expect vocals. They scream when people expect melodies. They go left when everyone else goes right. And somehow, it works. That boldness is a big reason why audiences feel connected to them. Because Stray Kids doesn't just make music, they make statements. And I want to know if you agree with me on this. Do you think Stray Kids' bold style is the key to their global success? Or do you think it's their performance power or their personalities? Tell me your thoughts, because honestly, this is something worth discussing as a fandom and even beyond it. And I also want to bring up something that I find really interesting. Stray Kids is achieving these massive milestones without following the typical play-it-safe formula. They don't release generic songs. They don't try to fit into Western radio trends. They don't tone down their identity just to appeal to a broader audience. Instead, they show up exactly as they are, loud, experimental, unpredictable, and the world responds positively. That is very rare in this industry. I think that's why their success feels so satisfying, because they didn't have to compromise anything. They stayed true to their artistry, and the world embraced it. So now the question is, what's next for Stray Kids? If they're already achieving things that most groups can only dream about, where do they go from here? Do you think their next album will also hit #1? Do you think they'll ever break the record and surpass the Beatles or the Rolling Stones? Because at the pace they're going, honestly, nothing feels impossible anymore. And speaking of you, the viewers, let's have a real conversation. How are you feeling about Stray Kids' global domination right now? Proud? Overwhelmed? Emotional? Motivated? Shocked? Because being a Stay right now is like watching your children grow up and suddenly they're winning Grammys. Except Stray Kids isn't our children. But still, it feels emotional, right? Also, if you've been a Stay since the early days, like pre-debut or District 9 era, how does it feel seeing them dominate Billboard, Europe, TikTok, and world tours like this? And for the newer Stays, what made you join the fandom? I want to know your stories because moments like this hit differently when you look back at how far they've come. One thing is for sure, Stray Kids is not slowing down. And honestly, neither are we. Their impact keeps growing. Their artistry keeps evolving and their influence keeps spreading. This is just the beginning of a much bigger legacy. So let's keep this conversation going. Drop your thoughts, your theories, your emotions, all of it in the comments. And tell me this one last thing. What Stray Kids achievement made you the proudest? Thanks for watching And Young Buzz, and I'll see you in the next one.